Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to the Companion, a podcast where Ian and I wander, meander, and travel through the top 100 Phish shows in the Phish Companion Volume 3. And today, we are all the way on episode 42, which is Halloween 96 at the Omni in Atlanta, Georgia. Welcome, Ian.
Thank you. 42. We're getting up there. 2, 4, 4, 2, two numbers I really enjoy.
Hey,
I'm happy to be here talking
special
about
numbers.
Halloween show.
The third Halloween. I was fascinated. I looked and I said, Halloween 94, 95, 96, all on this list. 97 they missed, and I'm sure anything they did would have made the list. 98 is on the list. And then they didn't play Halloween again until 3.0. Is there a 2.0?
No,
There's not another Halloween
not until
on the
Exile
list.
on Main Street, correct.
2014, I think, is the next one that makes the list after 2000 or 1998. So
Wait, what? There's nothing from 2012?
I don't believe so. I
That's
believe
insanity.
that these 1.0 Halloween shows were astounding. This one's no joke. It deserves the list. It's going to be fun to talk about. And I think it really defined these these chapters of the band, I guess. And it's really surprising 97 skipped. And maybe the band looking back said that was a great plan and they were trying to be loosey-goosey and not do it. But man, anything they chose in fall 97 to be Halloween would have been, that's a woulda, coulda, shoulda moment. But yeah, neither here nor there.
It's true. Yeah, I never really look back on it in terms of being a missed opportunity just because there's so many riches in 1997. And interestingly enough, I feel like Remain in Light, this 96 album, was such a huge influence on their style of music. And then so was Loaded in 1998. And it's almost kind of like they skipped 97 because they were still kind of dealing with the Remain in Light, which is obvious, and that there's a Cross-Eyed and Painless tease in nearly every single extended jam throughout fall 97. Annoyingly so, I would argue.
Yeah.
But
and it was evidence watching and listening to this show. It was evident how much this music was shaping them in real time. It was
right.
Of the enjoyment I got out of listening and watching some of this, that was really a big part of it. All right, let's do some facts. Released as Live Phish Volume 15. This was their third musical costume, but the first the band chose themselves. And the first of the Halloween shows where you walked in and you were handed a Phish bill, which we were handed in 98 as well. I love the stupid little ads in there and stuff. So the audience knew what was coming, which I thought was very, very cool. It was a different angle. Is this Broadway Trey? Maybe some of that early Broadway Trey.
Sure. So I didn't make that connection. You're totally right. It was a straight play.
The Phish Bills. And it was the only time they ever played the Omni, which was 16,500. And word was the sound was very subpar.
Right, and it's no longer there, right?
I don't know. I didn't dig that far into the Omni. And the sound is not subpar on the official release. It is fantastic. 96 Phish is beautiful to listen to. And during the Dinner and a Movie series, the second set of this was released as video. So you can go watch it. It's on YouTube. It's so fun to watch. So big fan all around of how much Phish has put into the archival care of this show as well. And it's all out there for you to listen to. So get after it, everybody.
Just as a fact check here, since we live in the age of Google here, the Omni in Atlanta, Georgia was officially destroyed the year after this show. And I almost kind of feel like reading in the reviews that like they rocked that place so hard they had to destroy it a year later, which there may be some truth to, frankly.
Well, they also used to play the Fox Theater, which supposedly was a beautiful place, and there's some great shows there. They also tore that down. Maybe this is a trend. Maybe Phish should stop playing anywhere in Atlanta because it just seems dangerous down there.
It's going to lose your venue.
Yeah, very dangerous. Also, this is the first one moved out of New England? Question mark? So
yeah, I guess so.
Out of the North.
Right.
So,
yeah, it's an unusual spot for a big show. but it was a very unique show, and I think it matches up with the spot. I like that they did it in a weird place, and they had
Yeah.
unique types of instruments and styles of music. And yeah,
Yeah.
frankly, I think they had to tell the audience because, in 1996, we're really into music, and I always kind of bought all the albums I was supposed to and listened to all the stuff I was supposed to. And the Talking Heads for our generation, I born in '74, were kind of like, Burning Down the House, Wild Wild Life. They had like a couple of hits, but they never were like cool and hip to my age group.
Hmm.
So I had never really put all that much time into the Talking Heads. I had the Sand and the Vaseline greatest hits, like 2 discs,
Yeah.
so I knew like the hits, but I didn't have Remain in Light. So when Phish played it, it was like, oh, I should listen to this album. And I feel like if someone who was like a real music collector was just kind of discovering it at that time, I'm guessing there were not a ton of people in that venue, certainly my age or younger, that knew a lot about this album.
Yeah, there was the one hit, and I
Yeah,
thought it was the only semi off kilter song in the entire Halloween set, which was T to B, pretty
right.
smoking. So I I very much enjoyed that the band chose this, that they went in a different direction, and that they picked something a little more obscure. And I know you and I have sat around pontificating many times about the things that could have been played by this band in such a peak
Right.
era. And I think this was a fabulous choice. And I really enjoyed digging this much into it. I remember first hearing these shows in 97 and not knowing a ton about the Talking Heads still. And
Right.
this really helping fuel my love and depth of enjoyment in that band. And I hadn't gone back in a while to listen to this show broadly for a lot of reasons, and I I really really enjoyed myself. It was a lot of fun. And 96, such a stellar year, and this show being bookended by shows, both what we're going to discuss next episode and the previous one, like some meh for me. So I think that
Right.
this is a real highlight and really did start to change the band's trajectory in a good way. So
Yeah, no
let's get
doubt.
let's
I
get into
mean,
it.
I think let's get into it. But there's one word that I think encapsulates the idea of how Phish is captured in this transition period. And I think that that's polyrhythms. And it's not
Hmm.
that they hadn't used them before, but it was at this moment that they decided to go completely bonkers with them. Right? Is that
Hmm.
wrong? I feel like I feel like after
No,
Remain the
no,
Light, the
no.
polyrhythms just got crazy, where that's what I was paying attention to in Phish, where I was just
Yeah.
like, oh, look at this going on over here and this going on over here. And it was more of a sort of a universe of musical things happening within their jams as opposed to support for Trey. Um,
There's also new ways rhythmically to use their instruments and voices, which
oh, yeah.
I think helped develop their style. I think it's what got rid of the mostly, in my opinion, god awful mini drum kit.
Right.
And it allowed them to find new ways to produce less lead guitar focused jams without having to shift over to a little drum kit that sometimes contains some real weird, unnecessary
Right.
pew sounds and stuff.
Are you familiar
But
with the
yeah.
meme of like there's like a guy and there's like a girl walking in front of him and then his girlfriend's next to him and he's like paying attention to the girl that's in front of him and
Yes.
she's like, "Oh, who's this new thing?" I feel like this is the show where I notice Mike, where
Mm,
I'm just like, "Ooh, what's Mike doing?" And then from
yeah.
this point forward, Mike starts becoming the leader of the band.
Mm,
So something happens here in fall '96 where he's something about the style of the music they're playing, or he gains a certain amount of confidence that kind of is we're resetting the band a little bit in terms of rank, you might say.
yeah, and I
Yeah,
know he starts changing basses and changing amps and finding new tones, and it really shapes the band and shapes who he is as a
yeah,
player in the upcoming, well, basically until the hiatus from this point. He's leading in a lot of jams. It's wonder.
right.
And 96, through the fall, there's still, oh, I just can't wait. Like there's so many shows coming up that aren't on this list that are going to make the list. And there's just a lot of really exciting, everyone in the band at peak performance shows. And it's before Trey starts to step back a lot and let Mike out there. They're still doing 93 style set lists sometimes. And
Right.
yeah, it's great. And I think this show shines in a lot of ways because the choices in set 1 are phenomenal of songs played.
Right.
And then set 3, I have mixed feelings about, but set 1 and 2, I mean, this is kind of like New Year's 98. Or I'm sorry, Halloween 98, where
Sure.
set 1 was so great and so much fun. Great choices. Set 2 was mind-blowing. And then set 3 had some, some jams, but it left me a little, So,
Sure.
I don't know. If you're going to open a Halloween show, can you do better with a back-to-back of than Sanity and Highway to Hell? I don't know.
No, you cannot. You absolutely cannot.
I don't think so.
Yeah, so we open with Sanity. It's very special. I mean, it's an incredibly dramatic song, first of all. It requires close attention. And it's really special. I think for those who were in the know with that show, it was kind of like the second they started Sanity, it was kind of like, yeah, of course I'm here. I'm in the right place.
It's a rare thing, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I just, it's silly, it's fun, it sets a tone, and I think it sets the right tone for this show.
Yeah.
It's great. And then the Highway to Hell was just raw power. Like the back-to-back, the choice of those, like this silly little song we wrote in the early 80s, performed on a massive stage, and then AC/DC was so cool. And it's such a fun way to get a crowd in, eating out of the palm of your hand right away.
Absolutely. Really, and I also think Highway to Hell is also a silly song. I don't like, I mean, is this a song like we're not like, are we taking this seriously? I always, like, whenever I heard that song the first time from AC/DC, I'm like, oh, this is so silly on a Highway to Hell.
Yeah.
Kind of, it's like Spinal Tap.
It's very
it's
Spinal
like,
Tap, yeah.
It's like Big Bottom.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It's very Spinal Tap.
So, then we go into Down with Disease, which
Yeah.
is, that's their exciting new big song. So, great placement. I think if I was at this show, I would be like on the verge of a heart attack excited when this Down with Disease started.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it was standard solid. There's like 8-ish in. Page has a little clavinet break that adds some change and structural difference, but good high energy they could have opened with that and it would have been great. It was a good spot.
Yeah, for sure.
But then to come off that Down with Disease and be like, woof, like so excited, like, man, it's a big Halloween show.
Yeah.
To the opening notes of You Enjoy Myself. Like this whole set just keeps punching and it's impressive. They do not let up.
And I think the Yem it's standard Yem, but it does have a really, really great vocal jam. So it's an awesome vocal jam, which would have been so cool for the mood. Yeah, I mean, it's like not the best Yem, but you're so excited in this moment seeing a Yem in the middle of the first set. You probably couldn't handle it if it was amazing Yem.
Yeah, it's like having average ice cream on a hot day. It's like this not so bad. Like a 50-cent ice cream sandwich. You're like, this is very delicious. I like this a lot. Yeah, it was great. And then this Caspian blew my mind. Like I forgot Prince Caspian eventually kind of falls into this more standard zone. But 96 Caspian, I loved this. I think Fall 96 contains the best Prince Caspians ever. I'll go on a limb and say that. And the Arco one, and there's so many. This one I loved it. I really loved it. Just sheets of sound and very powerful and moving. It was great.
Yeah, I also wow, that was loud. My apologies, listeners.
No.
Yeah, it was great. It had raw rock and roll energy. It just like was flowing with emotion. It was really moving, and it like felt really long in a good way, even though it wasn't particularly long. But I just felt, pardon this bullshit, comparison, but I was floating in the waves. I was floating in the waves, and I was content to be there. And it was excellent. For the record,
the blue lights and just.
I don't agree with Caspian peaking out in '96, but this is something we'll continue to discuss.
Good, yeah, we'll get there.
And then we get into so Caspian. Maybe if you're a complainer type, you like to whine about Phish. Maybe this is the first song that you're complaining about in this set, even though it's great. But then, what's that follows? Reba? Okay.
Yep.
What do you think of the Reba sound?
This sandwich, You Enjoy Myself, Prince Caspian, Reba's like just, wow. Like these two compositional behemoths squished in between this beautiful little like couple of chords that grows and builds so well. And I mean, I do think the ending is just a little meh in the Reba, but I thought it was incredible. I really loved it. I thought, especially the beginning, everyone is playing so well together and it's so giving each other room. I feel like when the band has guests that are sitting in the wings watching them, guests they hugely respect and are about to play music with. I think this happened at the Arco Arena as well. They really level up their playing and they really focus on the details because they're trying to show their friends that they're about to make music with, like, this is how it's done. I do the same thing if I have like a guest chef thing. Like I'm going to kind of level it up a little bit. And you want to rise to the occasion. And I think there was some of that going on in this set. I thought the Reba was great.
That's true. Yeah, I can't tell with Phish sometimes whether when they're wanting to impress, they often don't, because the key to their success is not trying, is just kind of, being zen about it. But yeah, in this case, I think you're right. It did seem like they were trying to impress, and I did notice a lot of the small details in this Reba. Although there was a couple of sloppy little points, but not to the point where I was, frustrated or anything. It's a great
the
version.
Energy got pretty out of hand at the end. It was big, and sometimes it's hard to hold on to that. So I get
that's
it.
true, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, especially
crossing the
the
streams.
Yeah. And then, to cap off the Reba, Foreman's Mockingbird. So, I mean, that's really exciting to me. I mean, I remember in the 90s seeing a Foreman's Mockingbird. That's just as big a scene as Sanity, So that's also really huge. And it's got the super funny, evil David Byrne story
in the big
middle of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good story. It was funny, and I like all the David Byrne talk. And it was good. Really well played as well. And then, at this point, they're pushing Billy Breathes pretty hard, and there's 3 songs, I think possibly 3 of the big, strongest songs from Billy Breathes in this set, with Down with Disease and Caspian, and then closing with Character Zero, which kind of becomes the quintessential closer of a set through fall 96, and in some ways into 97. And it was good. It was short and rocking. It was great.
Yeah. Standard early Character Zero.
Yeah, a little fast and rock and roll, and then the Star Spangled Banner outro was pretty nice.
Yeah.
Mixing up the acapella. So it was good. Really, like, you would just be pumped, and you would be sitting there reading this Phish bill going, what is this band? No one had cell phones. No one was like, pulling it up and re-listening to it. You just had to talk amongst yourselves about who the talking heads were and what Remain in Light was. And there was some heads there, some older heads that were, kind of spilling the gospel, I would assume,
Right.
But yeah, very exciting.
Well, there's set 1. So people, just to kind of address the Star Spangled Banner, I think they had done sung it at a couple of basketball games or something right around that time, right? So it was,
I think so.
It was new to their repertoire, and they were including that instead of Hello My Baby or whatever. Yeah. Which is cool. I like it.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it a lot.
Although it'd be weird if they did it nowadays. Although perhaps they'll do it on July 4th on Folsom Field. We'll see.
Maybe. Can we... we can always cut this out. Maybe we won't. I don't know. I hold the scissors, so we'll see.
You hold the scissors, my man.
Speaking of Phish this summer, do you remember what we paid to see Phish at the Sphere?
80.
Less than a year ago.
Wasn't it 80?
I want to say final ticket price for one night was, with all fees and everything included, was like $170.
Oh yeah, 170, right? Okay, yeah, it was a lot for the Sphere. Yeah, but they're very expensive now.
The premier concert venue on the planet in Las Vegas, Nevada, a big city. So Phish is playing 3 nights in Manchester, New Hampshire, which is not a great town. Sorry to anyone from Manchester. They're playing at a place that is not that great. I've seen Phish there. I saw the 2010 show there, which was my first show back since 2000, and I had a great time. They also had that on the Dinner and a Movie series, and it was a great show. I had a great time. And I saw Neil Young there once during my music journalism stint. Some old bandmates and I got excited because they all went to SPAC and I couldn't go last year. I was like, all right, let's go to Manchester. They're playing on a Sunday. I can make it. Tickets sold out immediately. Immediately. I don't understand who's buying this many Phish tickets now. And the face value with fees is $235.
Right.
To see Phish on a fucking Sunday in Manchester, New Hampshire. So
those are the platinum tickets, right? Yeah.
No, that's any ticket.
Wow.
I just think I'm done. I'm done with Phish. Like, what did you pay when you saw them at the Hollywood fucking Bowl?
Yeah, I think I did pay like around, like it was around 100, but they're more now. And then one of the nights I paid 125. But yeah, they've gone up like astronomically since the last tour, and I'm skipping the shows this year myself.
Yeah,
I just can't afford them, and I'm looking for a job and stuff. So yeah,
who can afford them?
Yeah,
like who? You're basically saying unless you're rich, you can't go anymore, which is the antithesis to Phish. This Halloween show we're talking about was $20.
Yeah.
When we saw New Year's '99, they built a city in the Everglades, and we saw 6 sets of music, one of them being an 8.5-hour set. And I think those tickets were like $80.
Right.
Now, it was 25 years ago. Give me inflation. I understand. But this is a nowhere town, and they're playing 3 nights at a nowhere venue. It's just like an indoor basketball hockey arena. It's nothing.
Right.
I don't know. It's fine. I just am shocked. I was shocked. And
what I tend to read on the sites is that like the first couple days, it's just crazy, and then people end up spending too much on platinum, and then the secondary market gets it. But if you just kind of wait a few days, you can find them on cash or trade for like reasonable amounts. You can get in for, face value. You just need to stay on it. But it's still frustrating that we would even have to do that. And yeah, it does seem like Phish could control this.
Yeah, it does. I have friends spending $1,000 for a 3-day pass to these shows.
Yeah, are there just a lot of like Phish dinks out there? That's dinks, dual income, no kids. Just like a lot of people.
All of these people have kids. Yeah. Like we're not going to get into financial situations now. I'm just. It just seems like too much, and it really bothered me, and it really rubbed me the wrong way. So as we discuss Phish, and we bring up things like seeing a modern era Phish show, it's good to just say like we are two hosts and producers of one of the premier Phish podcasts in the podcast sphere, and can't afford to see Phish anymore, which is just wild. It's wild and sad.
It is wild and sad, and I can rationalize it a little bit because we've seen so much. Sure. And frankly, when we go to Phish shows these days, it is partially for nostalgia and to be around our friends and to just get that high of being around everybody that's having such a good time. And sure, they may, they're going to do some shit and throughout a show that I'm going to blow my mind. And I'm like, I can't believe they did that. Was so cool. But it's different. And there's when Mel Brooks was asked about dying and what he thinks about death. And he's like, oh, I think about death as it's like a super crowded deli, and in order for new people to sit down, some of the old folks got to get up and give their table up. So, and I do feel a little bit like we saw it. And I do understand that if you hadn't seen Phish, and this is like your Phish heyday, you're in college right now, like, I think $150 is not an unreasonable amount to spend on a show that's going to truly move you. I wouldn't have had any problem spending, astronomical amounts of money on 90s gorge shows, or whatever that we ended up seeing that end up taking a priceless space in my brain. I can't even put a number on it. So I get that, but I also know that no matter how much you or I pay for tickets, we're not getting that experience anymore.
Yeah, maybe it's not for me, but that's okay. This is for me. Re-listening to this is for me. So back to the show, less old man griping. Phish takes the stage. They're joined by Dave Grippo on saxophone, Gary Gazway on trumpet, and Carl Perazzo on percussion. Carl's going to stay, well, a lot of this, they're going to be there for the third set. And then Carl's going to spend about a week with them on the road after this. Varied results, we'll see. And everyone knows what to expect. They know that they're going to get Remain in Light. And, I mean, hands down, this set's about an hour. And, again, it's a little tough. The Once in a Lifetime has a couple shaky moments, I think, because there's a spotlight on it being the big song. Mm-hmm. We can discuss all of this, but this is incredible. Hands down amazing. All the way through this set. The songs flow one to the next. There's visual things happening. It is, I mean, the camera's on Fishman a lot in the video because he's running the stage, and it's beautiful to see. And the singing is good. The playing is good. It is a spectacular achievement, this set of music. And the band was feeling it. They were definitely feeling it. So, I mean, we can walk through it all. Just up front, just listen to this. It's incredible. And go watch it. It's on YouTube. Put on the headphones and watch it.
Yeah, it's interesting. I want to agree with all of that. And I do think it's an incredible set of music. But I would just caveat it in that I think it's an incredible set of music for Phish fans. I don't think you could play this to just like a Talking Heads fan and be like, look what this band did with Remain in Light. I think they would be like, ugh, the vocals are off. Like, this is like, they would have a lot of complaints.
Sure.
But from a Phish fan perspective, it's fucking beyond words incredible. I mean, just from the opening notes of Born Under Punches, it's so different sounding. Like, it is just so like, wait, what am I? This is Phish? And you can kind of still tell it's them, but it just there's just so much space between the instruments. Mike is as clear as a bell. In the first song, they're still figuring out the tech a little bit. I feel like there was like a couple of moments where they were kind of figuring out what they were doing, but it was still an amazing start to the album. And then we get to Cross-Eyed, which, you know, obviously they felt passionate that this was a moment, whether this was a song they loved and kind of had planned on covering after this, or this was the moment, kind of like Sweet Jane or Rock and Roll, rather, not Sweet Jane. That they were kind of like, this is going to be one of our songs. But yeah, it's high energy. It's dialed in. It's got like this really cool metronomic beat to it, which was, you know, kind of different than a lot of Phish jams at that time.
The band's just glowing too. Watching them perform it, they are having the best time. It's really amazing to watch, and it's just a freight train of rhythm. And I think this is one of those things that showcases where they're going. It really is.
It does. And in fact, I had noted that I thought, because of the sort of metronomic sound of this nomic sound of this jam, that it was an influence in Sand. I can kind of hear the roots of Sand.
Oh yeah, absolutely. All over the set.
Yeah.
That style of music and that writing, and you can tell it influenced all of them, but Trey's writing for sure. Things became stripped down and simple, and there were rhythmic patterns, and even Limb by Limb with the complex rhythm and the way that the chords fit over it, and it was the direction they were taking, and this helped work that into it. And I think
Right.
also, speaking of Trey, the Great Curve, which comes next, the transitions are so smooth in this set. There's
Yeah.
some really good ones. I liked this one. But Trey is trying to play like he's never played in this solo of the Great Curve. I thought it was so unique and so atonal and different, and really Trey as a player is so good at embodying the person he's mimicking
Yeah.
and trying to not just mimic them note for note, but to mimic them with like a feeling and an energy, and embody that groove and that the aura of that person a little bit. And I think he's really striving for that in this song. It's really great.
I'm glad you mentioned it, because I have an asterisk here that says Trey is ripping it, one of the many highlights of the set.
Yeah.
Along with a wonderful showcase for the horns.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, some great horn work.
Really great horn work, and great in the third set too. And Perazzo and Fishman are doing a great job as a team. They're really working really well together with the material, and obviously like handing a seat, saying we're going to play this, and Perazzo sitting at home and going like playing through it a million times and really finding the little tonal ways to lock in. It's great. It's really well done.
Yeah.
And this is a set where the guests don't hinder at all. They really raise the bar. It's great.
Well, there's a couple moments we'll discuss in the future, but yeah.
Yeah, mostly it's set 3 for me. We'll get there for sure.
They're all wind chime problems. Don't worry.
And then Once in a Lifetime. Like I said, it's the big song. It's the hit. It's the one that people might know.
Yeah.
And it's still pretty cool, but it's a little, I don't know. The only one that kind of gave me a little,
they're
like,
trying their hardest with
nervous.
the vocals, but it's tough. And it's the song that everybody knows the most, so it's the song they're going to notice that it's off. But I also think it must have been incredibly satisfying as an audience member to kind of get through the first 3 songs and be like, what the fuck was that? And then get to this and have a little release.
Yeah. But I also, after Once in a Lifetime, it's Houses in Motion. And now these next 4 songs, I can't find a moment that I didn't just love, over the moon love, all the way through the end of the set here. I thought Houses in Motion was just, the jam was just pure liquid. This is like where Phish is going with a lot of its playing. And then
it's the
audience starts clapping. Well, the clapping transition between that and Seen and Not Seen, where like it's perfect. The tempo is perfect. They get the audience to help set the tempo for the next song, which was just genius. And it showed how the band was using rhythm to manipulate the fans into this, like, it was tribal, and it's not in a cheesy tribal way. It was tribal in its energy and its vibe, and it was just sick. And I felt like Listening Wind and The Overload were different, but also the same vibe, where perfect transition into Listening Wind, just incredible. And I mean, all these transitions as good as they can get. And then The Overload was just 10 minutes of like dark heaviness, and it was a journey, a half-hour journey at the end here. That was amazing.
It was a journey, and a lot of it, like all the other stuff, influences future things that happens in Phish. And what I will say about Houses in Motion is I do think, if I'm going to choose a song out of this set, it's unquestionably this.
Yeah.
Kind of like I don't love the rain stick. I don't love the wind chimes. If we could just remove that, it's near perfection. The floating choruses in the background is a little bit out of their vocal range, but they still do a noble job with it. But this is what the sax solo in this thing is so psychedelic. I mean, it's not often that I'll be like, oh God, that sax solo was so psychedelic. But just the way that he jammed with the band, and the way the band was kind of like squawking and bumping, and just these sound effects, and Trey doing his frippertronics. And it was just so great. And one of the most psychedelic moments, I think, in all of Phish Halloweens that I can think of in terms of actual Halloween albums. I'm not talking first or third sets, but I'm just talking in terms of the albums. What it makes me think of is the next Halloween, Lonesome Cowboy Bill. And then it also makes me think of the Halloween after that, when they did Just Want to See Your Face from Exile on Main Street, where they take these songs that are kind of a little bit more straightforward on the album, but they find some real fishy space to them. Not necessarily not Talking Head space, and not Rolling Stone space, and not Velvet Underground space, but they take those songs and add Phish space to them. and it was very successful in this moment. And like you said, the clapping segue was really awesome. I know some people like to hate on the clapping, but this was a real moment of beauty, where the band and the audience are in sync and really feeling this moment of abstract music. It's not like this was like a catchy song by any means. It was like you just went on this crazy adventure and we're coming back into it, and then we're going to clap our way into the next song. It's just such a cool moment.
Yeah. And that next song is Mike walking out to the front of the stage and sitting in a lazy boy while Trey plays bass, and it's so deadpan delivered, and it was great.
And I hate to be the comparison guy again, but in Loaded they did Lonesome Cowboy Bill, and then they do I Found a Reason, which is Mike's song, where he does the same sort of thing. So it's sort of like the sort of comedic relief Mike moment, post.
Yeah, to bring the heaviness down just a little bit.
Yeah. And then the Listening Wind, vocals are a little bit rough, but I just love hearing Trey tap into his opiated guitar. So he's hitting it a few years early, but he's going to get there, and he's one day going to kind of embrace the sound to the full effect.
Yeah, absolutely.
2003. So anyhow.
Yeah, and the Overload was just heavy shit. It was really heavy and ominous, and a really interesting way to end. They're picking an album that ends that way on purpose, but it was long and much longer than the album and really heavy. It was great. I liked it a lot.
Yeah. And I think in that moment, the audience is kind of like in it. They don't want it to end. So I do think that sort of extended space at the end of this album was probably really, really enjoyed.
Yeah. When you're listening to Remain in Light, you don't usually, if you're in like mixed company or you put it on, you usually kind of cut it at some point here because it gets a little heavy and a little awkward, and it was cool to see how the band handled it. It was great,
and they did it with their typical comedic aplomb.
Yeah, and as a fan at that point, you're laughing, you're crying, you're having a great time, you're overwhelmed, and then you're thinking, I have a third set coming at me here. What's going to happen?
Right.
And I don't know. Third set is, there's some ups and downs, but overall pretty good.
Yeah. I would like to say, Sam, you had mentioned before, you can watch this on YouTube, which is very cool. I do want to mention there are also some beautiful photos of this set in the Phish book. Which I like watching it on YouTube, but it's a little bit less cinematic just because it's on YouTube and it's on video. When you look at the photos, you kind of get an idea about what a phenomenal production they put on, and how, I don't know, it's just they did a really theatrical, nice setup with this performance, not just musically, but visually as well.
Sure. Maybe too here, before we get into any negatives, we'll stay positive and have a brief discussion about Phish's relationship with the Talking Heads before set 3. So I did some research. I really love the studio or sessions at West. What is it? 54th, 45th, 50th. Yeah. I thought that was a really cool interview that they do with David Byrne. The entire unedited interview can also be watched, and it is, 37 minutes long. So it's a long interview. It actually starts before the official interview, and you can just kind of listen to them chit-chatting, and they seem a little bit in awe of their idol.
Oh, yeah.
In some ways, but there's a lot of musical conversations and things the band kind of talks about that we've discussed here and that have become lore, but it's great to hear them confidently discussing with a peer. And David Byrne is so self-effacing and friendly, and it's great. And then at some point, they talk about this show, and it's a pretty long clip. I can edit that in here, but it's really relevant to everything about this show. And I think shocking that they played this, and then one time they get to go sit down with David Byrne and discuss it. So.
Okay, I got to ask about the Halloween concerts, of course. I think, I'll make a little summary. I think when one of your Halloween concerts some years back, you decided to surprise the fans, and you did the Beatles' White Album, I think, top to bottom.
Yep.
And they apparently, no one knew. Well, I'm sure some people knew, but most of the audience didn't know this was coming. They didn't.
No, yeah, we kept it pretty good secret.
But of course, the next year they were expecting something like that.
Right.
And I think next year you did the Quadrophenia record,
Mm-hmm.
and then you did a record that I was involved with, which was kind of a surprise for me too. And it's kind of ambitious, and it's. What made you decide to do that?
We did a show in somewhere down south about a year before that first Halloween show. And because we have this habit of mixing up the set lists, we thought it would be kind of a shock to play our own album, which was Hoist, was the album, exactly as it, normally we improvise and everything. So for one set, it was the most shocking thing we could do. So we
actually play the album in its entirety.
So we played the whole album top to bottom exactly as it lay on plastic. And afterwards, we were talking to some fans, and we were jokingly boasting, we'll play any album ever recorded. And that gave us the idea that the next Halloween, let's do that as a musical costume. So we did the White Album.
And actually what happened was we did put out the word that we wanted fans to vote on what album to do. And they didn't. It was a secret.
That's
what
what it
album
was.
we ended up doing. But it was their vote from some letters so it was a challenge.
The first 2 years were votes. That was what it was. We said we'll do any album, and this somebody I was talking to. The third year was our choice. That was Remain in
Kind
Light.
of flattering to me. Yeah.
Well, it was also the concept partly behind it too. Was we used to always, like on Halloween, people would always give you these costumes to wear, and there was stuff that one year had this giant foam thing you had to wear on his head, and it's like stuff you can only wear for about 30 seconds because it's too hot and stuff. And so it was there was an idea of this sort of our costume. Let's make our costume a musical one, rather than having to wear these things on stage that you can't really play in. And so we just kind of took on the musical costume idea, and that's why it became on Halloween was the time and to try to not actually do so much of your own thing with the album, but play it sort of true to the album, as if you were pretending to be that other band for a second, really putting on the costume.
Having to get inside another band's head like that,
it's
amazing.
You don't know how it's going to affect you or how it's what you're going to pull away from it. But each time we did this with the Beatles' White Album, obviously the beautiful songs that they wrote and so many of them, the melodies and the orchestration. We really tried to get the orchestration down between the four instruments as best we could. And the next year we did the Who album, and it was sort of playing we're in Rosemont Horizon in Chicago, which is a big arena, and sort of playing a Who album in an arena, it gives you a sense of, these guys really...
They were writing for this venue.
Yeah, exactly. And then when we did Remain in Light, it may have had, in some ways, the biggest effect on us, because I think we really learned the grooves. We really tried to get inside the grooves that were on the album, and... I know for me personally, I took so much away from that, and the sort of groove-oriented playing that we've done in the last few years, repetition, pulling things out, putting it back, all that sort of thing. A lot of it was from learning that.
You had to at least bring in a percussion player for that.
We did.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Interesting
that it got everyone in the band singing more.
Yeah,
as well because of the vocal layering.
Yeah. Yep. For me, I never had, as a drummer, just really never had much of a singing role. And after doing that album, I became eager actually to sing more and realized that it wasn't something that was impossible for me to do.
It's like vocals as percussion instrument
Yeah.
became something that I think you can hear on this new album and all the groove stuff. But, other weird things jump out at you. Like when we did the White Album, when you really learn every song, the stylistic differences between the songs that John Lennon was writing and the songs that Paul McCartney were writing become crystal clear. Yeah.
It becomes a study, a meditation.
Yeah.
We're listening to the album a lot during the fall before Halloween and practicing it and like you said, getting in the heads of the people who made it without knowing them necessarily.
Right.
And so we come away with a lot,
We spent a year in your head.
Sorry about that.
Thank you.
No, get up.
Turn out the light when you go out.
We actually,
close the door.
we all slept in the big suit.
Yeah, I haven't listened to that in quite a while. I look forward to hearing that.
It was fun. It was very fun. And then, so they've played a number of Talking Head songs, but most of them this show and once. And I mean, they played the Burning Down the House at Vernon Downs. That was fun. Psycho Killer's been played 5 times. And obviously the 12/7/97 was kind of that big Psycho Killer that was great. And the two that have really come out of Phish and Talking Heads, or Phish covering Talking Heads, have been Cities, which has been played, 106 times. And then Cross-Eyed and Painless has been played 66 times, the show being the first. And each of them have 31 jam chart entries.
If you count Cross-Eyed Teases, it's 1,600.
Well, yeah. Don't get into your tease, anger. So Cities was played a few times, 84 to 89, and once in 94. But they kind of didn't bring it back until 97, and then it came back with some strength. And I remember us being shocked hearing from the Europe shows, and then we were both very, very lucky to see some Cities in 97, including my personal favorite in the Bowie sandwich from Ventura on 7/30/97. And Cross-Eyed and Painless, kind of the same thing, where they played it at this show. They play it once more. The next show they played together, because they're obviously still fired up, at Coral Sky, 11/2/96. And Carl Perazzo's still with him. And it's 25 minutes long, and everybody calls that incredible. I think it's overrated. I think it's good, but it's a little overrated. And then the next one after that was 8/13/97, and I was at that show. That show was great. And then the next one after that was New Year's 99. So it kind of came like at some big heavy-hitting moments, these first 4 Cross-Eyed and Painless. And I found that fascinating in the research, that they loved this song, but they didn't play it very often. And when they did play it, it was really special for the band as well as the audience, and they chose pivotal moments for it. So
I totally agree with that. Yeah, because I even remember, hearing it at Big Cypress and that being like a big deal. Like, oh, we're seeing a Cross-Eyed. This is insane. Yeah. It was a big deal. Yeah, and I think, Trey, all the guys, but Trey especially likes being, likes teaching us about new music and turning the fans on to new stuff. And I think this is probably one where like everybody likes the Beatles, everybody likes the Who and whatnot. But when they played this, I'm sure a lot of people were just like, I never even listened to the Talking Heads. So I bet that kind of I don't know, maybe combined with them to realize what a special moment it was in terms of our reaction.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much Phish covering Roses Are Free changed the Ween fan base, but if the Talking Heads were
Changed
still
it a bit,
out,
man.
I mean, maybe it would have happened anyways. Those guys are so great. But I think that possibly Phish doing this, we can't track sales the same way, but maybe there's a little bump to Talking Heads, like it was a nice, and it had to have been a nice nod. I mean, we talked about it, Halloween 95, what Pete Townsend said about Phish covering The Who. And I think David Byrne was very flattered and respectful and kind. And it showed what different types of musicians and men those two men probably are. And
right.
I thought it was really great. And he seems
remind me what The Who said about the Halloween. I forgot.
Yeah, I can't remember either, but it was something about like it was very rude. It was like flippant. I remember. Right. I think it was Fishman talking about it and how he had heard that Pete Townsend was basically, why do I care what some fucking Americans do with my blah blah blah,
Right.
Like no one can play The Who except The Who. Yeah.
Little does he know they will soon be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame with him, Pete. Okay.
We haven't discussed that either here. I mean, the nod has finally been given. I don't know that they'll get voted in, but I mean, I'm just going to back it up here a little bit, and I don't want to be insulting, but Dave Matthews Band got voted in last year, right? So
yeah, I think so. Yeah. We're in. It may take a couple of years, but it's happening.
Just surprising.
Yeah, surprising. I do want to just kind of add, and I don't actually think that this is going to happen. It won't happen, but this would be very special to me. And that on the ballot this year is Phish, which is my band, the White Stripes, which is my son's by far favorite band, and Chubby Checker, who was my dad's favorite artist. It would be crazy if all three of those got it in the same year. Father, son, and grandson. Favorite bands, 2025.
That sounds like a fun Rock Hall induction ceremony to watch, too.
It won't happen, but it's fun to dream.
Is Phish going to play?
If they get in, they play, yeah.
You think so?
Yeah, of course.
What are they going to play?
Let's talk about this next episode.
All right. That's fine.
All right, let's get back to set 3.
I'm curious. Yeah. Anyway, Talking Heads, big influence. So we're done with that, and we've moved on to a very odd opener for a third set. What are your thoughts on
Brother? Yeah, it is. It is a weird opener, but it's like it's a shred jam for Trey. So high energy, going to come back out and just kind of like let loose. They definitely do a little, dance your ass off white boy jam in it, which I enjoy as a white boy. I like a dance your ass off white boy jam. Sure. Couple of wind chime fouls, but that's going to be going on for the rest of the set.
And there's a great many percussion fouls.
Just to get back to the 11-2-96 Cross-Eyed and Painless, which Sam said was overrated. Which, sure, maybe it's a little overrated, depending on who you're talking to. But I would say, even with the wind chimes, I listen to it quite often. Like once every couple of years. And every time I do, I'm always just like, what a sick noise jam. So if you want to listen to a great Phish noise jam, it's great.
I worry, and I don't want to spoil anybody's lunch here or yuck their yum, but we're going to be discussing the Rupp Arena next show, 11/7.
Right.
And that's a show that is only on this list for one song, maybe two. I don't know. One song mostly. And I think that's why 11/2 doesn't make the list, is because it's just one song. I mean, the Antelope's cool, but
right.
the 11/2 show I'd heard about so many times, and we got copies of it finally, and I was so excited, and I put it on. I was like, what the fuck is this?
Right.
Like, I didn't love it. And I think I've never loved it, but I think it's fine. It's good. Like you said, it's a good. If you want to listen to Cross-Eyed and Painless, it's a good choice.
Right.
It drives all the way through, unlike the New Year's 99 one, which is a 25-minute wild masterpiece and a very different. The vibe of that show is so different.
Right.
Totally different Phish.
And like you said about trying to impress other musicians, I do think there's an element in that 11/2 Cross-Eyed where Fishman is really trying to impress Carl Perazzo, and he is really kicking some ass. So
this whole week, Fishman is having a time of his life.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I don't know if there is a folly anywhere in this whole entire show, anywhere close to remotely as bad as Carl Perazzo's addition to this 2001.
Agreed.
Phish 2001 in fall 96 is the transition point of this song being like a little smoke-filled groovy opener to a set 2 into a fucking funk masterpiece. And my two of my 5 favorite, let's say, 2001s take place in fall 96. And we'll be discussing both of them later at different times. But I was so excited for this one. Another percussionist, it's going to be great. He does this repetitive percussion thing that is vomitous, if that's a word.
Egregious.
It's just... And it never ends. It goes all the way through the song, and it was hard to listen to.
Yeah.
I had a hard time making it through the song. And I don't know how you how do you stop that? How do you get someone to man, you gotta lay off that thing.
Right.
You can't. He's a guest. He's your friend. You invited this person special.
Tough. Percussion's tough. I hate to root, when a band loses a member, but I'm pretty happy about the Goose situation. Looking forward to see what happens.
See, I've never listened to Goose, so I have no idea what's going on. But yeah,
second
drums is generally second drums is not it's not an easy role to fill, nor is it a role that need to be filled often.
No, and he's actually kind of a good solo musician, so I think it's all for the best. Go do your thing, Orabolo. So yeah, and then we go. So 2001, we're gonna give double thumbs down.
Yes.
Even Roger Ebert in his grave is rolling over right now. And then we go into The Maze. Pretty heavy, man. Gets a little antelope in the second half.
Yeah, good version.
Great peak.
Perazzo not helping it out, but still good Maze.
Yeah, too many wind chimes. Definitely noted here in my notes.
Yes, this was the song where it really hurt me a lot. And then I was thinking they were never going to come back.
Yeah.
And then the Simple was pretty good.
Yeah, it was cool. It had a really cool 96 groove. It really did.
Yeah. then I didn't mind the percussion so much. So the simple brought me back around. I was a little upset that the whole show was just going to be fucking weird wind chimes and wood blocks and like bad choices. And then it wasn't. And I thought the simple was good. I'll take Swept Away Steep all the time.
Yeah.
Love it so much. And loved it when it was on the album. Loved hearing it every time I've seen it live. Big fan. And then the Jesus Just Left Chicago with a sick Page solo and a great Grippo sax solo. It was good.
I've got some notes here. Let me catch up real quick.
Yeah, please.
This is what I have written down about the simple mini kit. I think it works here, and Sam actually might like it.
Yes,
it's a swampy, it's a swampy rhythmic pattern, but it's very fishy and fits the theme of the show. That's my.
There was a lot of rhythm. I just wrote lots of rhythm in a good way. It was really fun. I thought they were trying to take the Talking Heads vibe and apply it to simple, which was a cool choice.
Right.
It was really fun.
Right. And then the Swept Away Steep is interesting. Love it on the album. I just love Swept Away Steep on the album. It is really tough to pull off live, but I do think they do a good job here. It was really exciting to hear, and I love like the crazy scream at the end of Steep. I really feel like that's like a almost kind of I want to say like I didn't know, sort of like, don't trip out too much, guys. We're just a jokey rock and roll band, even though it was getting kind of heavy. Like I like when the band kind of does shit like that to kind of pull you out of the moment.
It's like a Syd Barrett vibe a little bit. Too,
yeah.
You know, like it's great. Yeah. Really cool song.
And then unfortunately at the end of It's Steep, we get some more fucking wind chimes. But we're
it's like you charted all the wind chimes. I love it. I wish I had some wind chimes right here and I could just hit them all. I gotta edit in some wind chimes. I'll get a little button and I'll just press it in for every time you say the word wind chimes, it'll just go.
And then the Susie or the Jesus Susie. Honestly, I love this shit. I've listened to this Jesus Susie so many fucking times. I've listened to this Jesus Susie more than anything else in this show, without question. Love them dearly, both of them. Dave the Truth Grippo, I mean, is just going off in the Jesus Left Chicago. Yeah, it's like, and absolutely. The jam is like, I know this is not necessarily one I hear on psychedelics, but it sounds like the Saturday Night Live band. Like, just super tight, like, just like classy, heavy building blues. Just really so great.
Our business is his name.
And then the Susie is just hot, hot, hot. I mean, I feel like with the cowfunk backing, like if you were to get rid of the cowfunk backing, it was borderline Miles Davis jam. I thought there was some
it was
really
an
interesting
choice.
stuff going on in the Susie.
Trumpet playing was very interesting. It was good. Yeah, I feel like a lot of the weight got thrown on to some songs in this set earlier that maybe buckled under the weight or didn't quite push out enough, and the simple really ended up kind of taking a lot of that weight on and doing some interesting things.
Yeah.
Big victory lap set in its own way without sticking a big jam in there. I mean, maybe putting this simple set one in place of the yem and putting the yem mid third set could have really created a different expansive thing. But whatever. I'm not in retrospect. Really just song selection was great. I thought, like you said, the Jesus Susie and then this Frankenstein with horns was, again, my dream as a Phish fan. I just want to see a horns tour. I want a whole tour with horns. I want to see one show on that tour.
Right.
I don't want to pay $240 for the ticket, but I would to see one show. I was complaining about this to my 9-year-old, and she said, "Dad, I wanted to go see Taylor Swift on the Eras tour, and they were $1,000 a ticket, so you should feel lucky." And yeah, I get that. But I said, I was like, well, honey, there's hundreds of dancers and this and that. Like, Phish is a much smaller crew, even though they do have a crew they got to pay.
Right.
But you add a horn section, and I'm thinking $240 makes a little more sense.
It's true. And before listeners, you start writing Sam emails, yes, he has heard of Tab, but that's not what he's looking for. He's looking, he wants to see Fishman with horns. He wants to see Mike with horns.
I saw the original Tab trio on their first tour they ever did at the outdoor arena, which sat, I don't know, 1,500 people at San Diego State University. It was like that sunken.
This wasn't the trio, though. That wasn't the trio. He had the horns.
That was just the trio, I think, wasn't it?
Anyway.
I had a great time. It was super. We walked from our house. It was super fun.
Right.
That
was the tour that I dubbed the Loops and Lines tour, right?
Yeah, sure. Tab is fun. Like, maybe that ticket's affordable now. Maybe that's me. Maybe that's what I do. Yeah. It's fun. It's not what I go for all the time, but yes, it's fun. And I don't know. it was a weird ending to the show, but I did not let it cloud my feelings of joy in both the first and second set of this, and deservedly on the list, top 100.
Oh, without
Phish.
question.
Yes.
Yeah. No doubt, important show. Yeah, it's interesting with the ending. I agree, it's like a little off kilter. But then I thought if they would have like ended the show, like walked off after Remain in Light, not come back on, and been like, what a hell of an ending to a show, you know. So it's kind of like they already did the ending, and this was all just kind of, you can have your cake and eat it too.
Yeah, it was lots of, I like when the band takes some victory laps at the end.
Yeah.
They're exhausted, they've made it, they're high on adrenaline, and they have friends up there who want to let loose with some, horn solos, and they just get after it. Totally. Maybe there's some chimes. Maybe, every drummer's got a set of chimes somewhere, and, they take them out and they set them up, and you look at them and you're like, oh, fuck. Like, it's going to happen. It's going to happen at some point. And you're going to get into this beautiful space, and you're just going to hear ring.
Yeah, it's all about context. But even sometimes I'm listening to Alice Coltrane and I'm like, too much wind chimes.
Yeah.
I admit that this is a personal issue. Well, we have finished talking about this show. Sam, I did hit a couple of random Phish shows. Just decided to listen to some 98. Fall 98. Good. Not connected. But
I'm a fan of Fall 98. That's good stuff.
11/6, 98. Really great. I don't know why I brought that up, but really great. Yeah. Great show. It makes me want more soundboards from 98 and 99 and 2000. Like, I just feel like I really want, that's the era that I want. Much as I'm a 94 guy and I like the early stuff, and those are there.
Those ones are going to be so big and warm and fuzzy. They're going to be so great. And I think that there was a lot of detail to the sound. Like, being at those shows, too, it was pretty great.
Yeah.
And it sounded amazing a lot of the time. And the bass got so big. So, yeah, hearing some really good recordings from that will be great. I mean, we talked about this, where some of the recordings I listened to from that era, I think they sound thin and kind of garbage.
Yeah.
And we'll probably have those discussions as we get further into this.
Right.
But, yeah, and that's why I talk about the Amsterdam 97 shows, the 71, 72, sounding so good, because I think it's just, they're able to mix that smaller room and have it sound big and warm and full, and it's going to be fun to get there again. I can't listen to those shows enough.
Oh, yeah. Anything else you want to recommend? Any music or movies you've been checking out?
I don't know. There's new, let's see, what's today? Today's Monday. Did the new Wolfpack record come out today?
Oh, it's coming out soon.
Today or tomorrow? This week? The singles have been great. I'm excited because it appears Theo Katzman's back, which would make me happy.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool that this year they're playing Fuji Rock Festival, Madison Square Garden, and one other place, I think. Like 3 shows. But they're going to make them special, and they're going to be great. And it's cool to see. There's every musician in that band, it seems, has gone on to do so many things, and it's like a diaspora of what was Wolfpack.
Right.
And it's cool when they all come back together and make something. So I think that's going to be a fun record. I'm going to listen to it a bunch.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely excited for that. Yeah, I talked a bit about Bob Dylan last time in the episode, and since then I've listened to all of his albums. And really put the time in, and it was a great experience. I've noticed that, I don't know if you do this, Sam, but when I go back and I decide to listen to like these like legacy artists or like artists that I really like, and go back and listen to all their albums that I never thought were worth their time, it's such a fascinating experience, because you'll listen to an album and like 6 songs you'll be really looking forward to never hearing again. But then 5 songs will be so awesome, and you'll be like, I can't wait to listen to these songs over and over again. So there's like a real trade-off in going through these albums, but it's almost like buying something on sale, or like there is this sort of satisfaction I get to kind of discovering all of these amazing songs on, what I've been told are crappy albums. Some of them are, and some of them aren't, So you do have to wade through some stuff you don't want to hear. Just very much like Phish. Sometimes you got to listen to some jams that aren't so good to get to the good stuff. But I did want to
some
impart
people
to
are
the
just
listeners,
geniuses, like
think,
you can't stop genius.
Yeah.
Even when it's a bad album, it's fucking Bob Dylan. Like
Totally.
he's done it, and he's going to find a way to move you. That's what he does.
Yeah, and he's got like this sort of Bob Dylan structure. Like he's got like 10 different song structures, and they're all just kind of variations on that song structure. In the same way every band it is, but his lyrics are so brilliant that he really makes that work. So
he's not making money. He's not making music to make money.
No, not at all. He's making music because he needs to make music.
He has to.
He's a weirdo. But I would recommend all the Christian albums. And I definitely think Street Legal deserves to be on a list with all of his other greatest albums. Even if the production is weird. It's got a weird like late 70s production that's thin, and it has gospel singers, but the songs are so brilliant. The lyrics are so brilliant that I can't say enough about it. And my final thing,
you sent me a collection of stuff, which is
and then I also made I went through all the Bob Dylan covers.
Other people covering
Bob Dylan songs, because I know a lot of people like my mom and my mother-in-law who love music, but they're like, I can't stand Bob Dylan's voice, but he's such a brilliant songwriter and such a brilliant poet, and writer, that I think his songs need to be listened to. And sometimes it just helps to have someone with a nice voice or, playing in a different style of music to get his ideas and his melodies and harmonies across. And I found a lot of really brilliant covers. One being Susan Tedeschi doing Lord Protect My Child, which is kind of like a blues number. But every time I listen to it, it like nearly brings me to tears. It's so powerful. So much more powerful than his version. But then there are other Bob Dylan songs that can't be covered. Like I listened to 20 different people trying to sing Visions of Johanna, and I'm like, nope, not going to happen. So it's just some songs translate and some don't. Anyway.
Yeah, and he is very covered.
He's very covered. There's a lot of whole albums. Covered. Yeah, like a lot of artists have whole albums of just Bob Dylan covers. And then I did see the Led Zeppelin movie. And it was fantastic. A lot of really great old footage, and Jimmy Page is undeniably the most adorable man in the history of rock and roll. Always nice to see footage of him. He's a funny little guy, because you're like, you caused a lot of problems back in the day, but he just seems so innocent and smiley. You just want to hug him. But there was some great footage of Zeppelin in '68 where the audience was just covering their ears and just appalled at the noise they were being forced to listen to.
That's great.
Always a joy to watch.
Yeah, that sounds fun. Cool.
That's all I got.
I want to watch. I haven't watched yet the SNL 50th music.
Yeah, me too. I heard Cher was great.
I didn't watch the 50th either, which I'll watch eventually. Everyone, I listened to the Lonely Island podcast, and it seemed great. And I watched a couple sketches. They seemed really fun. I love all this SNL nostalgia. I've been on a lot of that kick lately. I watched the 40th special. It's like 3.5 hours. And I heard this one was just as long. And it's great to see Lorne getting his, one after another, his due. And it's cool to see. And it's cool to kind of take comedy and sketch comedy and see what it means to so many people. It's really cool. And we all have different eras of SNL that we grew up on. And I personally had my era, but it folded quickly into I was a Kids in the Hall guy.
Right.
More than I was ever an SNL guy. And I thought that's again Lorne. Like it just really was ubiquitous in comedy when we were children. Yeah. And it was such a Ann Golden era of, the show and of comedy and sketch comedy in general. So and the music was a big part of it for us too. And watching some of those artists, it was the only time we ever got to see them perform.
Yeah.
And
I mean, Saturday Night Live's definitely a big cultural zeitgeist juggernaut, and that it kind of, whether you watch it or not, lives in all of us. And all, like, because my wife doesn't particularly like Saturday Night Live, and whenever we watch it, she's just kind of like, I don't get this, but she's still like, she's like, I don't understand sketch comedy, which I also get, but
some
but
of it's
still,
really bad.
but she knows all about it, and she knows all the people because it's everywhere. Did you see the Anxiety song that The Lonely Island did for the?
Yeah,
did they play that on the podcast? That was like the highlight for me.
No, I just went and watched it because I knew about it. And I was
like, that was the highlight of the show, I think.
Yeah, Andy talked a lot about his stress of, whenever they talked about going back there, and I know on Fly on the Wall, the Dana Carvey, David Spade too, when they talk about going back there, it's like, you leave and you think, wow, I'm so happy to be away. And then you take a little time and you realize, no, that was the best job I'll ever have. And then you go back and you're like, how the fuck did I ever do this before? This is the most stressful thing I've ever experienced. And you hear all these people talk about it, the pressure and the stress and how insane it is and the hours. And they talk about it with joy and reverence, and usually with a little bit of, that was a great thing that we did. And it pulls on a lot of heartstrings. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Passage of time,
Agreed.
So I've been living with a lot of that. It's been good. Yeah.
All right. We feel like we talked it out.
Yeah. So we'll see if I cut my complaining about ticket prices out or not. But
hey, you're not the only one. I mean, the internet is aflame with complaints.
Good. If there's anything, I don't read the internet flames, but
don't read
we'll be back.
Flames. You don't want to do that.
Episode 43 will be next. It's the Rupp Arena in Lexington, Kentucky, 11/7/96.
Yeah.
It's gonna be something. We're gonna discuss it. And then honestly, we start getting into this late fall 96, 97, 98. Really a run where I was seeing the band. This is the peak of me in my Phish concert going. So I'm very excited. This is when we start seeing shows together.
Right.
And I'm just excited about this stretch of the podcast. It's going to be really different for me and nostalgic. So anyone who enjoyed the New Year's 95 stories, there's more coming. And hopefully more. There's a lot coming with the two of us getting to have been there together. So it's going to be great.
I can't wait. Well, it was a great talk, Sam. Really enjoyed that show. Definitely going to be on the list.
Yep.
And
go listen and watch.
Listen to that Houses in Motion and that Jesus Susie.
And get those wind chimes. Get them. I wish I could make like a wind chime sound with my voice. I just can't. Not even close.
All right, everyone.
That's
take care.
Pretty good. Sound like a bird call. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
We'll talk soon. Hello there, friends, and thank you for listening. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or would like to reach out to Ian and I about anything at all, you can find us at companion2thecompanion@gmail.com.